So when you receive your medicine pouch kit, you're going to have all of this inside of it. So the kit includes 2 pieces of pre-cut leather. They've already got the holes punched in it for you, so you don't have to worry about that. You're going to get a piece of sinew. It's simulated sinew. It isn't real sinew. Real sinew is a little more difficult to get. This you can purchase at Michael's, fairly inexpensive. You're going to get a needle. It's got a little protective nub on it. Don't forget to take that off before you start stitching. And you're going to have a little bit of lace here. So to start, you're going to remove the nub from the needle and go ahead and thread right there, nice and easy. Not too sharp, but still be really careful. I like to double my sinew, so there should be plenty in your kit to double it. You don't have to. Or you can stitch it forward and backwards, so like stitch over everything twice. This is a bit long, but that's okay. I'd rather you have too much than not enough. And I'm going to take my pre-cut leather pouches, and there's a suede side and the leather side, and I want to start stitching inside out. So I'm going to put the 2 smooth leather sides together so that the suede is on the outside, and I'm going to start stitching through both. So actually I'm going to start at the 3rd hole, and I'm going to go up. So I don't knot it. I never knot when I'm stitching. I'm going to hold that here. I can cut off any excess later. I'm going to hold that with my finger here. I'm going to go up through the next hole, and then up again in the top hole. There we go. So I've got that little tail on the back. It shouldn't go anywhere. And now I'm going to stitch all the way down, around, and up. So I'm going to go back through this hole. This shouldn't take you very long at all to stitch all around. Now, in your kit, you might get a different shade of leather. We have black, we have tan, I think there might be white. We also have pink, yellow. So unless you ordered something specific, it's going to be a surprise. There. So I keep going just back and forth over my stitches that I've already done. Don't worry about that little tail in the back. We can chop that off later. But it's nice and tight. Don't pull too tight because you don't want to crinkle your leather. And I'm just going to keep going in and out. Now, I ended up on this side, so I'm going to come through the back. There we go. And back down. I'm going to come up that same hole again. Now, let's do this one, the next one down. No rhyme or reason. As long as you hit every hole as you go. It doesn't have to be pretty. This is the inside of the bag, so once you're done, we'll just turn it inside out. And you won't see any of the stitching. Go all the way around. So the black, the hole is a little difficult to see on the black, but I'm sure you've got better eyesight than what I have. There we go. Just keep doing that all the way around and keep pulling it, making sure it's nice, snug, not too tight, but you want to make sure it is snug. You don't want anything dropping out of your bag. So what do you keep in a medicine pouch? Typically, depending on your nation, you might keep tobacco in there. We are sending out seeds to all of our students, which are going to be California white sage that you can plant at home. So you just need a little bit of soil, a little pot. All the instructions will come with it. So the seeds will be inside the pouch. They should be when you receive it, if you've ordered that type of a pouch. And then once you have your sage, not everyone burns sage or smudges. Many First Nation people do. Cree, Anishinaabe, and I believe Métis for smudging. They would use that for smudging, burn it and smudge. Inuit, I know, often make tea with their white sage. So you can Google it. And you see, there's really, honestly, no rhyme or reason how I'm going in and out of these holes. Sometimes I'm doubling, which is fine. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so Inuit will make tea with their white sage, and then if you get a little bit of the white sage in your mouth, you're to chew it. So it's a medicine, and you just chew on the sage. Safe to swallow. Some people keep stones inside their medicine pouches, quartz or amethyst. You can put anything you want in your pouch. It's like it could be a little bit like a scrapbook. I was reading a story online the other day about some remains, human remains that were found. I believe it was Nevada or Dakota, somewhere, one of the Dakotas. But they carbon dated the remains of a human, and they dated back more than 5,000 years. And the body was believed to be that of an Indigenous person. And it was a man. And he still had his medicine pouch on and fully intact, and all his belongings were fully intact inside his medicine pouch, which was kind of neat. Medicine pouches can be passed down to family members as well. So if you make it, you have someone you want to gift it to or give it to. Maybe your grandparents left you a medicine pouch that was theirs. Here I'm coming up around the corner. Nice and tight. And I've got plenty of sinew here. To bring me back up to the top. So rather than, like I said, I don't like knotting, putting big knots in things. You can if you wish to do that, but I just go back over my stitches. Once I get to the end, I'll show you how I do that. Turn around and around. There are different types of stitches that you can use. You can go online if you want your stitches to show. These you won't see. Once I turn the bag inside out, you won't see any of this stitching. But you can do like a bit of cross stitching around the outside, which is really pretty. Especially the light color sinew on the dark leather would be nice. Or you can use dark sinew on light leather. Or you can stitch, even if you don't have sinew, you can just use a strip of leather, a thin strip of leather to stitch with. I'm coming close to the end here. 2 more holes, so 1. And up from the bottom, and here we go. So now I'm just going to repeat back through the same holes. I'm going to go back down and hide the stitching that I have here. Coming up. Let's see. Came out here, so I want to come up here. I hope you can see this okay. It's getting a little thick when you double stitch. There we go. And again up. You could go, if you had enough sinew, you can go right around again if you like. Make it nice and strong. I don't know where I'll stop. I might go until I start running out, because I don't use the sinew again. I'm done with it, so you may as well use it if you have it. It's really pretty, just like this. Up to you how you want to stitch it. I'll go 2 more. And I'll finish off at the bottom. There we go. So that is not going to come undone. I think I've got every hole in, out, around. Oop. Here I didn't go twice. I could go all the way up. I'm going to finish it here. If you decide you want to do that with yours, go ahead. But just for time's sake, I'm going to finish this off here. Hopefully I have some scissors on hand just to cut that off. And I do. I should have had those out. You will need scissors. There we go. Snip that off. Perfect. Now I'm going to flip it inside out. A little tricky here. I can cut this tail off while I'm here now as well. There we go. Turn it inside out. Oh, it's not cute. A little bit of work, but just push it tight. Sorry, my bracelet keeps hitting the table. Wow, there we go. Push it with your thumb. Work it. So push with your thumb all the way along that seam. Make sure you have a nice shape pouch. Push it all out. There. So there's my pouch. Now all I have to do is add my leather lace to it. So here's my lace, and I want to, it's not quite pointy enough, so I'm just going to take my scissors here. I'm going to make it a little smaller at the tip. It'll allow me to. There we go. And I'm going to start, so you can see there's 3 or 4 holes on each side. I'm going to go to the 3rd hole, and I'm going inside the pouch, because I want this to be the lace hanging over at the end. So I'm going to leave this much hanging out. I can always adjust it later, and it's just like lacing a shoe. So you're just going to go in and out all the way around. If I can see, I suppose I could put this on a needle and make my life a little easier, because the eye of the needle is actually big enough that it would support this leather. Back in. There we go. And then out from the inside. It might be easier if I had a different color lace, and you may get a different color lace. Your pouch and your lace isn't always going to be matching. Just depends on what we have available when we're putting our kits together. I don't know what I'm going to keep in my pouch. I'm almost there. Coming in. This is painful to watch, I'm sure. You can fast forward through a lot of the video. Once if you know how to stitch, you don't have to see it at all. And I don't think it wants to go into this. 2 more holes and it's just not cooperating. There we go. 1 more. Come on. There we go. So now I've got both laces on the outside, and look what I've done here. One is much, much longer, so I can just go in and start pulling, because I want them to both end. It's just like your shoes. You ever tie your shoes and you get one lace longer than the other and you've got to rework it? Same thing. There we go, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just going to cinch it up here. There we go. I like to, once I tie a little knot, I like to go around it a couple of times. This way, however you like. There we go. And there you have a beautiful black leather medicine pouch. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it brings you comfort.